For today's devotion, we are going to be looking at the idea of hope. Where is your hope? Where have you placed your hope? I want to read Psalm 121, and I want to look at four aspects of this psalm, and I want to give us a bit of encouragement to place our hope in something greater than the things that are constantly begging for our attention. Psalm 121 reads as follows, a Song of Ascents. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. And the first thing I want to point out is in light of those first two verses, where it says that I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. If God is sovereign over creation, then he is sovereign over your troubles today. Consider this. God created the heavens and the earth, and everything that those contain, he created. It was him who crafted. It was him who designed. It was him who spoke into existence. So if God can create everything, then certainly everything that you find in your life is under the authority of the living God. There is nothing in this world that God is not completely sovereign and in control of. That does not mean that life does not come without its problems. But instead, we know for certain that of all the problems that we have, God is still in control. This is why the psalmist can say, I lift my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord. The second that I want to point out is that God is not man. God is not man. Think about that. Yes, Jesus put on flesh and became man, but God is not man. He does not grow tired. Listen to verses 3 and 4. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. When Elijah was on that mountain with those prophets of Baal, he mocked the prophets of Baal as they were trying to call out to Baal to act, and he mocked them, saying, perhaps your God is sleeping, and you need to yell louder to wake him up. Our God, the living God, the God who created the heavens and the earth, does not sleep. Yes, he created the Sabbath. He created the seventh day. He created the day of rest. Yet it was not for him that he rested, but it was to demonstrate to us that we rest in him. God does not sleep. God does not stop working. God does not take a day off. God does not need a vacation. God does not need a weekend. God is not in need of retirement. God never sleeps nor slumbers. He never tires. God is not any more tired today than he was before he created the heavens and the earth. God does not have any more or less energy today than before he created the heavens and the earth. God is not tired. God is not man. We do not have to hope that God is on a good day today and that he can handle the high demands and the high stresses of being creator and author. The third thing I want to encourage us with is that the Lord is your keeper. He will not let you down. Listen to verses 5 and 6. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. All of the difficulties that this life brings us, there's not a single thing that God is not able to guard and keep us. Your life is under the watchful care and watchful hand of a loving God. He does not observe painful things and ignore them. He does not happen to notice that he forgot to protect you from something. But everything in this life that you are going through, God is guarding you and keeping you. And you might say, but I'm sick. or I'm broken, or I'm hurt. Do you think God is not keeping you in the midst of this? Consider this. A doctor who is caring for a patient in the hospital, who is every day administering tests, who is every day administering the appropriate procedures and things to care for this patient. Does that doctor not care? Does that doctor not love his patient as he is gently concerned about the needs of this patient? No, the doctor certainly cares. However, the doctor is allowing certain things to take place until healing comes. God is content to allow us to endure temporary pain for eternal glory. God is willing to allow us to endure temporary difficulties for eternal comfort. Let us not grow accustomed to temporary comforts. Let us not grow accustomed to temporary things when God is calling us to eternal things. God is protecting you. Just because we don't feel like it, that doesn't mean it's not true. However, we must look to the God who is keeping us. The fourth thing I want to remind us of is that God will protect you even if that means death. Verses 7 and 8 says, "The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. The Lord will keep you, you're going out and you're coming in, from this time forth and forevermore." If God keeps us, certainly he kept the Son. Certainly God the Father kept God the Son. And what did that mean for God the Son? That meant that for God the Son, he had to die. The greatest care that God poured out on his Son was the death of his Son. If God kept Jesus even in the midst of death, how much more will he keep you, even if that means death for you and I? Our fear is not death. Our fear is not sickness. Our fear is not that we will never recover from this. We have no fears like that. Instead, we have the simple and the profound hope that God, he will keep us, he will protect us, he will care for us. Not because of who we are, but because of who he is. And so I want to encourage you with two things. The first, keep a heavenly view. Look up for your salvation. Stop trusting in the things of this world which are going to pass away. Consider of all of the silly ideas that people of past ages have come up with to protect us. Consider all the silly things that people of this present age are coming up with to protect us. And they're going to pass away. They're not going to last. Any current sickness that you are cured of, you will still not be cured of death. You are just prolonging the day that you will die. Yet in God, even though our bodies may temporarily die, they will be risen again, rose up from the grave. And so I want to encourage you, look to God. Keep a heavenly view. Look to the hills for your salvation. Second, I want to encourage you to keep an eternal view. All of our current comforts are temporary. All of our current afflictions are temporary. Don't look to getting well as if that is all you need. Look to the day when Christ returns and makes all things new. Don't look for when you get to go back to normal, when life returns to the way it used to be. Don't even look back to a former glory days, but instead look to eternity when God will make all things new. That is our hope. That is our glory. In the midst of this uncertain life, and it is uncertain, in the midst of this uncertain life, look to Jesus.